Jesus is a friend of mine.
Jesus is my friend.
Jesus is a friend of
I
mine.
have a friend in Jesus.
Do you want to die, Sydney? Your mother sure didn't.
Fuck you, you creep. Please God.
Jesus wept.
Tell the sheriff I shot him.
I got plans for you. I'm gonna slit your eyelids in half so you don't blink when I stab you in the face.
I don't know what death is.
I like to dissect girls. Did you know I'm utterly insane?
Hey, you're listening to Blood, Guts, and B-Movie Trash Talk, and we got episode number, is this 25? I believe it's,
Sure.
I think it's 25.
Did you just ask that as a question?
Yeah, well, I can't
It's
remember
up
the
to you
episodes.
to decide.
So many audio editings that I have to do, so. But anyways, today we are going to review The Witch, and before we even jump into that, there's a few people we need to introduce. First off, Steve Norman. How's it going, Steve?
What's up, you dirty dicks
Ooh.
and dickettes?
And we got good old Danny Vasquez, not to be confused with Vasquez, right, Danny?
With Selena
Yeah,
Gomez.
Yes, not to be confused with Selena Gomez, because I am so what's the word? Vivacious?
Voluptuous.
Voluptuous? Yeah.
Your tits are as big as hers, but they're not as nice.
No. Gainesville City over here.
Don't forget Kansas City.
Oh yeah, Kansas City boy here, the newest addition, Kyle.
Los Angeles via KC.
Oh,
Can we just call
All
you
right.
Kansas from now on?
No.
Kansas City.
Sure.
KC.
And then like Jurgovs. Like
Think about it, though.
casino.
Jerga.
Kyle Cardenas, Kansas City, KC.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
sick.
Damn, Danny.
All right, enough of this bullshit.
We don't got time for all that.
Yeah, we do not.
Nope.
So we're reviewing The Witch. Now, before we get into a huge spoiler,
Pee-pee touch.
yeah,
No.
pee-pee touch. Before we get into it deeply here, we
Balls
are
deep.
gonna do we're gonna do a little review for the people out there who haven't seen it yet, so they can decide whether or not they want to waste their time.
Yeah,
Yep.
so this bad boy dropped. This hot track dropped February 19th, 2016. Written and directed by Robert Eggers, right?
Mm-hmm.
Budget $3.5 million, and the box $21.5 million so far. Pretty wow!
So I read a bunch of things about this, and from what I've found out, the budget as far as making the movie sounds to me that they only had $1 million to make the movie.
They just lied to inflate their numbers, like when guys that are like 6'8" are like 6'11".
But the other
Yes,
the
because
other
that's
$2
such
million,
a frequent lie to make.
the other $2 million there, I think, went towards marketing this bad boy, which
Oh, yeah, no doubt.
Let's face it,
yeah, it's been pretty
it
big.
brought in all the hard asses.
All right, so
All the theater talkers.
Yeah.
so let's talk about whether or not we recommend this to the people out there that haven't seen it yet. I'll start with you, Steve. What do you think? What are you thinking?
Rock and roll dog. Yeah, I think you should see it.
All right.
It was a good time. But I think you should read us the back of the box before we decide, because we
Okay.
might need a refresher.
Sure, I'd be more than happy to do that. Well, there's no box yet for
Oh,
this, but
wow.
let's pretend. So, New England, 1630. William and Catherine lead a devout Christian life, homesteading on the edge of the impassable wilderness, with 5 children of their own. When their newborn son mysteriously vanishes and their crops fail, the family begins to turn on one another, and The Witch is a chilling portrait of a family unraveling within their own fears and anxieties, leaving them prey for an inescapable evil.
Ooh. Hot damn. I still say rock and roll dog. You should go see it. What about you, Danny?
I'm just gonna go ahead and say Hail Satan. I mean, that's really all I have to say about this, and then you should probably go see it. So I guess I'd say that too.
Okay. How about you,
KC
yeah.
and the sunshine, baby.
Yeah. Well, I think I was the one who complained the most about this.
Yeah,
I didn't want to see
You did
it.
not want to go. We had to
I
put
really
this episode
didn't.
out like 2 weeks late because you wouldn't go see the movie.
Yeah.
Yep. I had my silent protest.
By now, nobody
And
even
it's
cares
because-
about
It wasn't really
podcast on
silent, dude. You let us
That's
know
true.
like every day.
making fart
I let you know
noises
when I
and
was in the
stuff.
theater before it even started. I was like, "Fuck this movie! It's about to start, and it's gonna suck."
And then you complained about
but-
the previews.
Well,
yeah,
the
the previews. I stick to that. Fuck those previews. But to cut to the chase, I am a convert. Black Phillip for president,
Yes.
and go see The Witch.
17th century.
Smut.
You got room for my big black Phillip, right?
No, I agree with you, gentlemen. This is a really, really fun movie. You leave the theaters just having to think about some things and reevaluate your life. Really cool movie. Shot well. It's horrifying, chilling, and beautiful at the same time. Recommend.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm glad
All
you
right.
said something eloquent because the rest of us are just being dicks.
Well, we've been eating baked beans out of a can.
Well, you know, Kyle refused to watch this, and it even came down to him
I did.
sending me letters with smears of letters in his own feces saying, "Fuck you, I will never go
Yeah.
see this movie." But no, I think
Yep.
this is a good movie. Now we need to move on to the full review here, but before we do, we're going to take a quick break.
Yep.
Scream at us on Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook at B-Movie Trash Talk. And don't forget to visit the website at www.bmovietrashtalk.com.
Who are you? Beyond the door, a terrifying look into demonic possession.
George, you can help me, George. Take me away from here. Mommy! Mommy!
Beyond the door, step inside if you dare.
All right.
We're back. Now, gentlemen, we ready to get this review on the road here?
Oh, yeah.
Sure.
All right, so, Steve, where do we start with this bad boy?
Takes place in the 17th century in New England. And, because of the... What?
Never mind. Go on.
I was just gonna say because of the crime of prideful conceit, fellas. William and his family, consisting of a wife named Catherine, daughter Thomason, son Caleb, and two creepy twins, they get excommunicated from their Puritan Christian plantation.
Yeah. Don't you find that a bit...
So I want to ask real quick
Yeah.
of you guys about this scene, about when they're getting excommunicated. Are we all on the same page that it was literally because the guy was too hard of a Bible thumper?
That's what I
Oh, yeah.
thought.
Yeah.
I was like, oh, this... Yeah, he had too big of a boner for Jesus.
I felt there was some hypocrisy going around in this little town of theirs, and so
Yeah.
he decided,
He's like, you know what?
I'll pack up and go starve somewhere else then.
I'm too about God for these Puritans.
Yeah. Which,
Well, the
right.
rest of the town was like, we like Jesus,
But it sounds like you're
We're
in
still
love
a little
with
hesitant.
Jesus.
I just think it's hilarious. Like,
Yeah.
at this point in time, people are starving to death, like dying from colds. Like, the last thing I would want to do is go live in the middle of nowhere. I don't know, pretty funny. But anyways, yes, they do decide to... I don't know if they're being banished forever or what.
I think that they give him like one chance to change his ways, don't they? And he's like, no.
Yeah, I think he.
Yeah,
I think he's like, no, I'd rather live on my own.
Yeah,
Isn't the-
he essentially tells him to fuck off because God said to.
Yeah. Isn't pride a no-no in the
Yes.
Book of Good?
Yes.
Well, that's why in one of the last scenes, if I may be so
Book of
spoilery, he definitely confesses to being too prideful.
Mm-hmm.
Just
All right.
Before he gets...
That's part of this whole movie, man. They were so Christian, they weren't Christian. Boom.
Yeah. He was too God for God.
Mhm.
All right, so they end up leaving. They find a nice little spot, little opening in the center of just thick wooded forest.
They're like, there's a scary forest. Let's pull over next to it.
Yeah.
Right on the very
Yes,
edge.
just the edge.
The forest that they weren't allowed to go into. By
Right,
the way.
the forbidden forest. Let's just park next
Where
to it
Asian
here.
people commit suicide.
We're not going to talk about that piece of shit
Yeah.
today.
Yeah, no way.
So they build a little makeshift lean-to with weeds roof and stuff.
Yeah. So I assume
Mm-hmm.
I assume it jumps well ahead of time here because to build something like that would have taken weeks.
Yeah.
Well, and it takes a real
So-
man. This guy, he doesn't even know how to shoot a gun.
No, he's got the voice of a real man. Then you see him and you're like,
Ooh,
God damn.
damn.
He's got a burly voice, that's for sure.
Yeah.
But you guys,
So I have a question.
Don't-
I have a question for you guys before we go. There's a scene that happens right before it shows them fast forwarding to their house that I had like a big question on and how you guys interpreted it. But when they get to the spot that they choose to settle down in, they all are kind of doing like a praise Jesus sort of hands in the air kind of thing.
Yeah.
And it zooms in on this one tree that's on the edge of the forest. Did you guys notice that? It almost looks like they're sort of like praising the tree.
I'm going to be honest with you. I haven't seen this in weeks.
No, I remember that. Yeah.
I saw it yesterday, so
I knew you.
I'm just kidding.
I knew that's why you could remember.
No,
No,
but that
I
is
think-
that is a very like. Sorry, Danny.
oh no, I was just going to say, I think they did zoom in on that tree, but I don't think it was necessarily intentional. Like, I just thought it was, we're zooming in on the creepy forest. Look at them praising Jesus.
Maybe it.
I don't know, because you see that tree a couple times getting zoomed in on.
Yeah, I think it's.
Because it's like
I
sort
thought it
of
was
on
a
the
joke.
very edge of the forest. It's all dead, and it's kind of like on this little bit of a hill. I don't know. I feel like there's got to be some sort of significance to the tree, but I just don't know what
When
it
they
is.
It's not
did it
Evil
the-
Dead 2 tree rape scene, dude.
Well,
Like,
when they
I don't think there
when they
was
did
much
it
to
the second
tree.
time is when I noticed it, and I thought they were just trying to make a joke like that fucking squirrel that like it's like dun, 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 and he turns around, you know.
No, I think it. I don't know. Maybe it just has some symbolic meaning of being alone. I mean, these guys are isolated. The tree's isolated and away from other trees. So
Yeah, it's like it's on the edge of the forest, but it's still like far. It's the farthest tree out, and it's sort of by
yeah.
itself.
So
I don't know. Edgar's
So maybe that is what it is.
Edgar's is apparently like, I don't know if he's a Satanist himself, but he definitely knows way more about the subject matter than we do.
yeah.
I don't know if there's some sort of, to use a fake word, symbology there.
Symbology.
Symbolism.
Yes, the old tree of Satan.
Yeah, like I don't know if there's something there that we're all missing, but anyway.
I'm sure there is.
Yep, we're dumb. Moving on.
Yeah, so then at this point, for some reason, the kid decides she's got to play peekaboo with the baby out in like the middle of the kind of by the woods. Because once it jumped
We're
forward,
forgetting there was a jump forward because there were only 4 kids when they got kicked out of the town, and now there are magically 5 kids.
yeah, so it jumps forward. Apparently, one of the kids
Is born.
One of the kids wanted to be in the movie, so they brought in their friend's new baby. And
We jump well.
Magically, that old ass lady could have a kid.
Yeah, it's dick under that dress. Tell you that.
It's just long and thin.
Pencil
Oh,
dick.
like the rest of her.
Like a new pencil, one before it's even sharpened.
Oh, shit.
And so yeah, so she rips one out, and they got their house and everything, and so it's like, oh, let's peekaboo this bitch. So she's peekabooing it right by the forbidden forest, and then like she's like, oh, what's that? This is just like in the trailer, and the baby's gone.
Baby's gone, but they added a few more pickaboos in it. That's for
Yeah.
sure.
Oh
Can
yeah,
we
they
just
did.
say that this movie literally went from 0 to 60 in like less than 5 minutes?
It did. It jumped
Oh, yeah,
well
like-
ahead of time here.
I was
That's
telling
pretty
Steve
slow
this
pickup.
movie. Yeah.
Like,
Well, I was telling Steve that this movie wastes no time putting that baby to bed.
Put that fucking baby to bed.
Yes, that's exactly what he was saying.
oh god.
Yeah, he was.
Yeah.
All right, so we pass where their home's built. They have their farm. The mother's shit out another child. Steve.
Mm-hmm.
After all this, what's the next scene here?
So the baby gets taken,
Yes.
and as we know, there's a fetching woman that has got this baby, and she turns it into some side of
very graphic scene.
Can we just?
Yeah.
Can we just?
It's
also,
baby butter.
Yeah. Can we also just mention how fast this witch can fucking book it?
Yeah, she's
for her. She's got some.
Oh yeah,
some real meaty ass, but she can run, baby.
Like,
I was getting a little concerned and also excited for Steve for a minute because she has a knife, right? And she starts to she's running along the baby for a second before it cuts
well, and
to
then
the
it
next
gets
scene.
creepy.
And I thought for a split second she was gonna honk his wiener.
I think she
she gets
she was like dragging it down towards it. I was like, oh, is she gonna honk his dick?
She honked it with a knife.
She just gets hauled out of.
I think they just don't show
it was
things
a
on
circumcision gone wrong. Let's just say that.
Fucking moil.
Nope, but I think that's what she did. She cut the baby's dick off, threw it in the potion, stirred it around with some dead bats
with her little finger.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Can we also just mention though this scene though, as graphic as it was, let's just fucking churning the entire baby guts, dude. Like that was fucking intense, especially to start off a movie.
Yeah.
Yeah, so you see her literally just doing the knife thing, and the very next scene it just cuts, and it's her doing the butter, and there's a bunch of gushy guts and stuff coming out while she's trying to churn this baby butter.
And then she rubs it all over herself.
Completes the ritual by rubbing it all over herself and laying in her hay bed.
Yes, you do.
Yeah, so then we get back to...
So was the significance of her doing this to the baby so that she could turn into other forms? Did anyone else catch that?
So she could stay young and handsome, just like she was with the baby.
That's kind of how I take it.
Yeah, but later on, not to spoil anything, but later on, she was still an old fucking witch.
I was just going to say, I think that how she appears to people is just part of her magical spells or whatever. So that killing the baby probably adds to her powers. I don't know if it has necessarily anything to do with the way she actually looks, though.
The more stem cells she...
It's like Christopher Walken.
Yeah.
Or not Christopher Walken.
Christopher Reeve. No, so this is my opinion. It's
eating the stem cells. I'm hip to what you're saying.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah. All right. So I don't know. This whole baby killing, blood rubbing ritual could have done a lot for her power-wise, but from what I took from it, she put a hex on the family and cursed their crops.
Yeah.
Oh, that's smart.
That's true.
Yeah. I was just thinking the whole time, this is going to be a bitch to wash off, lady. Boom. You don't have a shower.
Yeah.
I'm glad that was your main concern, was how was she going to get it all off?
Yeah, that's what I was...
Yeah.
I have a hard time following any plot, so I'm just like, oh man, I can't believe how hard that would be to wash off.
So that's what I took from it. I gathered that she put the hex on the family and cursed their crops. And then...
Why does she hate them? Is their goal... Kyle said something really smart to me.
For once in my life.
That their goal could have been... He asked, was their goal to convert one new witch? Or
it seems like it. No, I think that was the main goal, is because they would have dragged her in the forest and mashed her up into a stew.
I thought their goal was just to watch these people suffer.
It's obvious
that that's part of it, man.
That she was spared by the end, and we'll get.
Yeah, I think part of the suffering is part of her transformation. So,
yeah, it's part of the hazing. It's part of the hazing.
Yeah, exactly.
We're gonna kill your family in front of you.
It's
and
the
you're
freshman
gonna watch
ritual.
it.
Ha! We killed your family.
Yeah, I mean, think about it. If the witch just comes in and fucking knocks everyone else off and is like, "Do you want to be a witch?" She's gonna be like, "No, fuck you."
At the point that she may or may not join the witchhood, I don't know if she has a choice. What's she gonna do? Fucking sleep in the forest?
It's either join our fucking covenant or have sex with Rucker Howard. So what are you gonna do?
Your move. So the other thing too that I thought was interesting about Thomason, who's the girl that lost the baby in the first place, is her name. It's kind of a weird name because it's Thomas is a dude's name, but if you think about it, and this might be getting way too off the deep end, but her name is Thomas and it ends in sin. Yeah,
sure. Yeah, very, very interesting. Yeah,
and she's also a dude, so that explains the Tom. Tom is
Thomas.
I get it.
Yep.
Anya Taylor-Joy, the girl that plays Thomason, did a fantastic job. Did you guys agree?
Absolutely.
I took of her name the fact that they wanted a boy first, but that was just me.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking.
Yeah, I wouldn't see why not.
We hated her all ever since she was born.
Yeah. She was like the redheaded stepchild, but she wasn't a stepchild. She was just redheaded.
Yeah, but they also were like, they treated her like shit, and then later on, they're like, we're going to make you go serve another fucking family? Like, yeah. Anyway, we're jumping ahead. Next scene.
After the baby butter, then, is once everybody gets into the real funk about the Samuel being taken, and the mom just spends the rest of the movie being a bitch and crying and stuff.
Yeah, she takes it the worst.
Praying nonstop.
And this is... Wouldn't
you cry?
Well, of course.
You popped out like a little demon child, and then a demon stole your demon child.
Of course you'd be sad about it, but, like, she just hates all of her other kids because this happened. Like, wouldn't you care about them more?
Wouldn't you care about eating? Because
Right.
you're starving to death.
Right.
Did you not see the other kids? They were fucking stupid.
Hey. That may be, but the girl was the smartest one by far.
All right.
At least she was
exactly.
like,
Thomason was smart. The twins were fucking annoying.
So the mom's taking this super hard. She's crying. It's a mixture of crying, praying, taking long naps.
In the sun with a good book.
But this is where Thomason's taking it the hardest. Not because she's sad per se, but she's just getting shit on by the whole family and losing the kid. This is where it begins.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. And it is like they...
Yeah, she didn't...
Please.
Go ahead,
Huh.
Steve.
I was going to say, it's not like they had it very sweet to begin with.
No, that's true.
Well, yeah, so she loses the baby. She's like, where's the baby? And then it's fucking gone. And then she forgets to, like, turn down the animals or something like that, which I didn't know you had to fucking do, because they're...
Yeah, you gotta let animals know it's time for bed, or they get upset.
You gotta tuck them in.
That's what I gathered from it. But, yeah.
They sleep in their own feces.
So she didn't do that. Yeah. So she didn't do that, and they're, like, shitting on her for that, and, yeah.
Just to watch those two retards, what do you expect?
Well, then, not only that, so the next scene, though, after she's bitching and moaning the whole time, the mom, and she won't leave her curtain bed, which...
Her floor poster?
It's kind of a weird luxury to have.
That's a separate room in those days.
Yeah, I don't know. Anyway, so yeah,
so
the
kids couldn't see their
dad
parents make a new Samuel.
Yeah, so the dad and the kid, what was the kid's name? Caleb?
Caleb.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
They go hunting. Right?
No, the dad's name was William. I mean, the kid was William. The dad's...
Nope,
governor?
you're wrong.
No, the kid was
the
Caleb.
The dad's William, the kid's Caleb, and hold on a minute, Mr. Fact Checker,
Oh, yeah, you're right.
they don't go hunting yet.
Yes, you're right.
The
Sorry about
crops are failing.
No, they don't.
The crops are failing. And
Yeah, they go. They go hunting
Right.
because the crops are failing.
Yeah, but let's talk about this because the crops.
But there's something that happens.
The crops have a hallucinogenic
happens,
mold
guy.
on them that will cause you to see shit,
Yep.
which may or may not be related. I don't know if they were eating it.
Oh,
but,
that's weird. Yeah.
That could explain the whole movie.
No. Yeah, that was a common thing then. Hallucinations, which is eating fucking food that made you trip, and that kind of helps with this movie because it leaves it
It's
somewhat
another dimension,
ambiguous.
so you could be like, oh, that could be plausible.
Yes, it's quite possible.
It's cool.
Yeah.
On a lot of levels. But anyway, so at that point, that's when they go hunting. Go ahead, Danny.
But wait a second though. Isn't when the crops are failing and before Caleb goes hunting, isn't that the scene by the brook where the twins are like...
No, we're jumping way too far ahead. Right now...
Yeah, that's way far ahead.
Right now, Caleb and the dad are
Okay.
going hunting.
Yep.
Oh, yeah.
And so
You're
Caleb
right.
and the
So
dad
they're-
go hunting. Go ahead, Danny.
Yeah. Well, they're going hunting, and the kid the entire time is just like questioning his dad, like, "Oh, aren't we supposed to not go in the forest?" And the dad's like, "Are you gonna obey me or not?"
You gonna tell your mother? Don't do that. She's
Yeah.
mean.
Yeah, and essentially it was just like, "We're
He
Christians, but you're gonna lie to your mother."
Right, and Caleb also asked the dad if Samuel was gonna go to heaven since he wasn't baptized.
Yep.
Yep. And then he starts crying because he's apparently gonna go to hell too because Samuel's in hell.
Fuck
Which
bitch.
I know, just crying the whole time.
Fuck
traps
God,
aren't-
man. If he's gonna be that big of a pussy, like fuck him. Like who cares?
Right.
Come on.
So I don't know why, but the kid's fucking carrying the gun at this point, right? Like, I don't know why the kid is carrying the gun that's bigger than
Well,
him.
it's too heavy for him. It'll wear the dad out. He's got to look for those wild game bouncing around.
Yeah, it makes no sense.
These aren't like modern assault rifles. You have to like prepare that shit before it can even shoot. So yeah, that thing was basically a club in his hands.
So they're fucking carrying this gun, and he checks this trap, and it's fucking empty.
He's like, God damn it, I'm the worst hunter. Traded your mom silver for this shit.
Well, that's where he's like, where did you get the money for the traps? And he's like, I sold your mom silver cup. And that's when Caleb's like,
he
tells Caleb how he got the traps and tells him to keep his mouth shut.
You sell that silver cup? I mean, come on. The mom is fucking masturbating at night to that silver cup. He traded it for traps.
He traded it to Indians for traps.
Fuck,
right?
He could have traded it for traps, then traded it right back off.
And he's lucky to get scalped.
Not only did he trade it for traps, he traded it for fucking, oh shit, I just forgot his name.
Caleb?
Caleb?
Yeah, Black Phillip.
Robert Eggers.
Yeah, so he traded it for Black Phillip, and he traded it for the traps.
Dude,
so
those Indians did him dirty.
There's some symbolism there.
They did. They knew.
There is some Christian symbolism there. Fucking trading the silver, essentially a deal with the devil, right?
And yeah, well, and he lies about it.
When Judas betrays Christ, he's like, here's your 40 silver pieces, or whatever it fucking was. Anyway.
I don't remember
and then Jesus is like, et tu, brute.
Yeah.
Right?
All I know is that Pontius Pilate was kissing boys.
Anyway, at this point, they see the witch rabbit. Yeah, they see the witch rabbit, and then the dad's like, give me the gun, and then they take 20 minutes to load it, and then he shoots his eye out.
Puts too much gunpowder in there, or it backfires and hits him in the face.
Something.
Yeah, something happens.
We wouldn't be able to ascertain, but real men could figure out what happened to this gun.
I'm glad all of us are like, yeah, there was a gun. It had a long string on it.
You gotta light this string, from what I understand, and it sets off a string of vinegars and fires this gun.
So they go back home.
Yep.
Go back home.
They go back home.
Hurt eye.
He's got to hurt.
Nothing. Absolutely nothing. And then that's when the mom comes out and freaks out at them. And
she just lives to bitch.
Yeah. First,
She really does.
First,
they're eating. They're sitting around the table eating, right?
No. Isn't this the scene where fucking Black Phillip like knocks the dad over into the pile of shit?
No, that's the end of the movie. What the fuck are you?
What are you guys up to over there?
No.
Hang on grass and goofballs?
No. Not the logs, but the pile of shit, to the point where she has to go clean his stuff in the river.
Oh, I think you're right. Maybe that does happen.
Yeah.
I thought you were saying into the pile of wood, and I was like, oh, come on.
No, he meant
if
shit,
I meant
literally.
pile of wood, I would have said the pile of wood.
They're like,
I literally said pile of shit.
That's right.
Thomason, go chew that mud out of your dad's shirt. She goes off.
Yeah, so what happens is he comes home, and the two little shits are tormenting the goat.
Freaks.
Yeah.
They're like chanting at him and making him all crazy go nuts. And so the dad tries to grab him by the horns to calm him down, and that's when he gets pushed into the shit.
Right. And so this is where you find out the twins are annoying as shit the entire movie.
Oh, fuck those kids.
And yeah, so they knock him into the pile of shit. And then somehow this is all Thomason's fault, because she was supposed to be watching the twins. After losing the baby, they put her in charge of the other kids.
Correct.
Which seems like great parenting, by the way, because the mom couldn't fucking do it. So they tell her to go like clean her shit and clean up the dad's clothes. And then she tells the twins to shut up because the parents did. And then they yell at her again, telling her to shut up. And then she's just like being shit on the entire time, and then goes to the river to like clean stuff up. After Caleb's like, oh, I thought I saw an apple tree.
Yeah, he's
which
like,
plays a huge significance.
There was an apple tree.
Well, he's lying.
Yeah,
That's
he
a
lied.
lie.
Yeah, he's like, we're going to get apples. And I thought, are apples indigenous?
He's covering
to
up
this
for his
land?
dad as to why they're going out there, because he doesn't want her to know that he essentially traded her silver in for the traps.
I'm no Johnny Appleseed.
Like
but
Caleb's aware that.
Yeah, his father William tells him.
Well, yeah, it does.
Well, later apples.
But Caleb's aware that mom is in like bitch mode, so he's like, "All right, I'll cover for dad."
Right.
Yeah.
Well, they haven't seen an apple since England, which you find out later in the movie. They haven't seen an apple since England.
Right.
Butt
Yeah.
plug.
At this point, they're just hoping for some food.
Right.
So,
Yeah.
Thomason goes down to the water, and she's washing the shit out of her dad's shirt.
Because she always gets like the shit jobs.
Mm-hmm. And Caleb follows her
Literally.
down.
Mhm.
And as you can already tell, Caleb's like transitioning into a man. He's probably
He's
got his
getting
first couple
curious.
hairs on his nutsack. You know, he's starting to get curious, and
Uh-huh,
there's this really weird
and
this.
well, I mean, obviously too. It's like there's no women out there. So what else is he gonna?
Sure,
look
yeah,
at?
incest. Why not?
And this is the second time, though. This is the second time he catches a glimpse
true.
of his sister's cleavage,
Uh-huh.
Yeah,
and then he starts like freaking out, which is weird as shit. But yeah,
Yeah. I think that was a play. I think he knew she was going to comfort him and put his head in her boobs.
Yeah, big time.
He was trying to sandwater.
Yeah, big time. So they're down there washing the clothes, and he's staring at her. He's staring at her tits, and he's just upset about something. And so she has him come over, and she caresses his little 12-year-old head.
and then she says, "You're killing me, Smalls."
But anyways, she comforts him, and then the two little twins come, or is it just the one? I believe it's just the one little.
It's just the one,
Yeah.
which is weird because
Oh, no, it's the girl.
Yeah,
Yeah.
the entire movie, the twins are together, and this time it's just the one.
Mhm.
And then, like, she accuses her sister of being a witch because, for whatever reason, she said she saw her reading from a book, which apparently,
Well, no, she first claims that she's the witch. She has a stick and she's pretending like she's riding it around.
oh, that's right.
Yeah, and she threatens.
Yeah, and she's talking about how she's been talking to Black Phillip.
That's right.
And it starts to freak Thomason out, so she's trying to get her to shut up. So she just comes right out. She's like, "No, I'm the witch," and just starts going off this tangent, like trying to get the twin to shut the hell up and scare her off, basically. But she might have taken it a little too far.
Just a step.
And then she threatens the little one and says, "If you go and tell Dad or Mother about this, I'll have your
I'm
ass."
gonna suck Caleb's dick.
Mm-hmm.
Whatever they did back then.
So they finish
Anyhow.
up. Yeah, they finish up cleaning the shirt. Then we go back to the house, and this is the scene where they're having dinner, right?
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Okay. And they're all eating. Looks like
This is where
bread.
she discovers her cup is missing.
Yes.
She's like, where is that cup?
Well,
And,
she doesn't
guess
even
who-
just say, "Where's the cup?" She flat out first asked Thomason, "I haven't been able to find my silver cup. What did you do with it?"
I know you've had
Like-
your eye on that spanking cup.
Yeah, so I mean, it's not even like at this point you're kind of like, oh, dear God, like they just literally do not care for their daughter.
Yeah,
They're
they
just like
hate
treating
this
her
girl.
like
Yeah.
they like hate her.
Yeah, they do.
Yeah, and the
And that's
father.
that's why I got the name Thomas, and I was like, oh, they really wanted her to be a boy at this point or something. That's what I got out of it.
And where she's getting just reamed by the mom, the dad says nothing.
He's
He
just
just lets
such
it
a
happen.
wet dish rag bitch. Like, he's just like, I don't want my.
Well, and that's the thing. Thomason has no clue.
I thought
Thomason
the men
has
used
no
to
clue.
rule with an iron backhand, and suddenly, what is going on?
Well, did you
Like-
see the woman? I wouldn't talk back to her either.
She got a pee-pee under that dress.
Right.
Just a big old fucking steaming cock under there.
Steaming even.
No,
Right.
so she's just reaming Thomason, and then the dad finally steps up and says, "We all need to repent for our sins. We should fast
Yeah,
tomorrow."
Let's
They've
get
been fasting for weeks.
You don't have any food. What are you talking about?
You have a fast tomorrow? You need to stop drinking water? Like, what?
And so that's like when they, like the kids go up to bed at this point, and they fucking
Which is just the same part of the same room, just a different.
no,
part
it's
of the same room.
upstairs.
No, it's upstairs.
It's the same
It's
room.
upstairs.
It's
though.
wooden ladder.
Yeah.
Just you can
Yeah,
see. I mean, you
mean,
can watch your parents
Right.
the whole time.
Through the cracks in the floorboard.
It's true.
Anyway, so they're all up there, and the mom and the dad are fucking. Catherine and William are talking, and he's like, "You know, I love thee," and then she's like, "Sure."
That's called making love.
And then she starts being a bitch
Yeah,
again.
then she just starts ripping into him.
She starts pecking at him with her beak. Her big old.
Well, and then she's just like, "Oh, by the way, it's time to sell our daughter," like out of fucking nowhere.
And unfortunately, Thomason is upstairs listening to this fucking conversation.
They live in a studio, a glorified studio apartment.
Because they don't know how to whisper.
Instead of checking on the kids to make sure they were asleep, they were literally like, "Hey kids, are you asleep?" Fucking screaming at them.
I wake them up. That's because Dad has one talking voice, and it's like Dad has one voice setting, and it's just like I like he can't talk quieter or louder. He just fucking
He's very guttural the entire time, man. Like I had a hard time understanding him the first 5 minutes until
it's
I
like watching The Dark Knight. Fucking.
Right.
Anyway,
so
finally
he's a man's man.
Yeah, so she's finally like, by the way, we're supposed to sell our daughter to a family now because she's starting to become a woman.
Well, plus they wouldn't have to feed her anymore.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And then that family apparently would pay for her services. So essentially they're selling their daughter into slavery or something like that.
Labor.
And that's when Caleb's like, I'm going to save my sister so I can look at more boobs.
Yeah, well, he's fucking up to something over there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so next morning, the two of them like leave together because she's like, if you don't tell me where the fuck you're going, I'm going to tell Mom and Dad. And then he takes her through the forest to see all the traps.
Don't forget, they take the family's only gun, horse, and dog.
Yep.
And horse.
Yeah. Gun, horse, and dog.
Dog, horse, gun.
The only two able-bodied kids take all the other useful shit that's at this dump, and they all go off into the forest.
And they're just talking and chatting, and they're having a good time, right? And then they go to the traps.
They're picking stuff out of the traps.
And there's fucking, miraculously, there's a ton of shit in the traps.
There's a pet ferret in it.
And then the dog sees the rabbit, and for whatever reason, the horse starts freaking out, the dog freaks out, and Caleb freaks out, even though they have more than enough food to feed their family for like 3 weeks at this point, considering what they've been eating. He's like, I got to get that rabbit. And he chases the dog off into the fucking wilderness, and the horse throws fucking Thomason off.
The horse
and
gets
her out.
spooked and throws her off.
The horse is spooked because the rabbit's the witch.
Devil. Yeah, the rabbit's some sort of evil
The witch
being.
or the devil.
It is.
It's evil.
Is it the devil or is it the witch?
It's
the.
I think
it's
it's
the
just
witch.
something evil.
Yeah.
Probably the devil. Same thing that's in
Black Phillip.
Black Phillip. I think he's just moving in between animals.
But Black Phillip's creepy
Possible.
looking anyway, though. Those goats, I don't trust them. They look like they could
Yeah.
talk.
Yeah, you can't tell me that the devil's just going to stay in Black Phillip while he's in the barn by himself licking his nutsack.
With this one family?
Yeah.
Like he's just wasting his whole life? Yeah.
Yeah, he's jumping around. And
I think that's
he's in the
probably-
rabbit.
bored.
The rabbit lures the boy and the dog into the forest and scares the shit out of the horse. Thomason falls off the horse, hits her head on the ground, and is now unconscious.
And the dog runs off at this
Gets
rabbit.
knocked the fuck out.
By the way, I'm gonna say that this part of the movie bothered me just because I thought it was completely unnecessary, and you guys are all gonna like jump on me for this probably, but like there was no point to me in showing the dog dead like that, right? The entire movie they had not done anything like that, except for because the baby scene, like you don't see the baby die, you just see
the baby ripped up.
Well, I can see where you're I can see where you're coming from, Danny, because before he sees the dog dead, he hears it cry and then it stops barking. So you could
and that's
take
all
that.
you need.
That's how I pet my dog.
Sure.
Like if that were my dog or something like that, like that's all I would need, right? Like,
sure.
I don't know.
Yeah, but at the same time, like you guys, kind of the way you talked this movie up to me, and the reason I went to see it is like it's not a jump scare movie; it's just unsettling. Yeah. And that's seeing the dog like that was just, it's fucking unsettling.
It's true. You don't want to see your like dog or anything like just fucking gutted.
Well, and plus,
I know, but I think less is more because that would have left the audience to go, "What the fuck happened to the dog?" And then you would have had to think about it.
Well, who's the little boy looking for? He's now at this point, and the dog's crying. He's looking for his dog, and so I guess it works. But I see what you're saying. It's not completely necessary, but I don't find it like, ooh, let's add this in here for shock factor. I think it was.
They had enough,
I think it was decently played.
They had enough naked old lady ass to do that to you.
Yeah.
I don't know. Anyway, that was the only part of the movie that actually bothered me. The fucking baby, cool. Chop that thing up.
Yeah.
Leave the dog alone.
All right, so
At this point, so Thomason's knocked. To reset, we've got Thomason knocked out, dog missing his guts, boy running amok.
Mhm.
So the boy's chasing this rabbit at this point, or something.
through trees and
dog.
No, the
drops
boy's
the
lost
gun.
at this point.
Yeah, everybody's lost.
Yeah, he's
except for
lost.
Knockout
He's
Girl.
wandering.
And so what happens? He finds his way to a home of a young woman with a bountiful bosom, and
Well,
she lures him inside.
First, the dad and the mom start screaming for both of them, right? And
Oh well,
at this
of
point,
course. I mean, they've taken.
They've been,
Let's think
but
about
at
this.
this point, Thomason-
She wakes up to them screaming, so they've been
right,
looking
and
for
Thomason
him.
finds her way back in like 5 seconds, which means they weren't that far away to begin with.
Well,
True.
when the parents are yelling from a direction, you can find them. And of course, the parents
Right.
are going to yell because they're missing their 2 able-bodied kids, a gun,
Who else
horse,
is gonna
dog.
Who else is gonna do work around the
They're like,
house?
we're hungry. Who's cooking breakfast?
So she gets back, and he's like, "Where's Caleb?" And then you see Caleb slowly walking up to the fucking cabin, where the other witch is. I don't know if it's the same witch or not, but
The
anyway.
bountiful bosom lures.
That's
him
the
in.
same witch.
Is it?
Probably.
Is it?
First, no,
in
no,
the
no.
movie, dude.
I thought it was
Yeah.
all the same witch.
I know, but
I did
probably.
at first,
But then at the end, you're like, oh, there's a million of them.
Yeah.
You got a witch problem.
Right. Yeah.
This one's the hot one of the bunch.
Yeah.
The one with the incredibly old
Well,
hand.
Again, it just goes into the shape shifting thing. That's
Yeah.
a witch tactic.
Yeah,
You know.
and she's clearly
Do your
not.
fucking homework,
The
guys.
witch tactic.
Witch,
I
Danny,
thought-
it's Witch 101.
it's true. At the beginning,
It
I
is.
thought the witch was the rabbit too, and I'm like, oh shit, it's the witch.
No, but
'Cause
I-
at this point, we don't know there's
Basic.
anything bigger than the witch. We just think
Shape-shifting.
it's the witch.
Yeah.
Sure.
And then suddenly
Anyway,
you're like, oh,
so
the devil.
at this point, this 30-year-old witch starts making out with this 12-year-old boy.
And that's
and-
what everyone came to see, baby.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And then you see like the grandma hand reach and like grab the back of the kid's head.
Well, someone's got to finger his butthole.
No, so yeah, the kid's stoked here.
Yeah.
He's gonna get some 18, 19-year-old ass
Dutch
here,
door action.
and she kisses him, lures him in, and this is where I don't know. You kind of see this shape shifting because she's this dime piece. She's a 10, and then she wraps her hand around the kid's head, and it's like this decrepit fucking
It's because
witch hand.
And
It's because-
her arm is a 4 at best.
It's because it's like on Zoolander, but reverse. Like instead of David Duchovny with the hands in the jar, she's got like her body in the jar and her hands sticking out.
Oh my god. That is the most random ass fucking reference to pull out.
Makes sense though.
I appreciate it.
Anyway,
It's the only thing I can understand here. So anyway, yeah, you're right. He gets lured in, and Thomason wakes up and easily finds her way home.
And guess who gets blamed for this?
Guess who gets blamed for this and gets berated and beaten with a cup?
The dog.
Close. Beating a dead dog.
Give you a star for a good guess.
So,
really beating a dead horse here.
yes. So Catherine's like, Thomason, you didn't just get rid of my silver cup. You lost your brother.
And our horse and dog and gun.
Yeah.
Our horse dog gun.
And apparently traps that I don't know about yet.
Yeah,
And-
yeah.
Right.
And after this little family quarrel, yep.
Yeah, and at this point they're trying to like eat food again, and then that's when the dad's like, "I sold your cup."
Well, they're
Yeah.
not trying to eat food yet. They're just arguing. And she has to go down and turn down the animals again, and then she finds Caleb
Oh, that's
outside
right. The
naked.
cup part comes later. Yeah, so she has to go turn down the animals again because the animals don't know it's fucking bedtime.
Night-night.
It's not night outside.
They can't tell even.
And so she goes out there.
Is that when the goats are freaking the fuck out?
Yeah,
Yep.
they're just jumping around in there.
And so she's like,
So what's kind of cool is they have like this really ominous music playing in the background when the goats start freaking out, and the goats are almost sort of in time with it a little bit.
Well,
So I thought that was a smooth play.
Oh, yeah, definitely.
don't forget though. Don't they go for like longer than a day missing that kid?
no, I think it's
Because I thought,
Oh yeah,
No, it's just like...
it's the same day because
it's a
she's
few
like,
hours.
Okay.
you need to wait till morning, and he's like, I don't care if it's night, I don't care if it's raining, the rain doesn't bother me. I'm gonna go out and find my kid.
I would say it's probably wee hours in the morning.
I thought that was the wife that made him do it though. I thought the wife really pressured him to go out.
No, she wanted him to stay. Originally wanted him to stay because shit's hitting the fan here, and she wants somebody there to protect him.
Well, let me get this straight, guys. So, okay, the same day.
Get it straight,
The
Steve.
same day as she gets a concussion from falling off a horse, she comes home and they're like, milk that fucking goat.
Nope,
Is that what happens and then the blood comes out? Or
That's later.
this is
God
later.
damn it, Steve. Oh.
Hey, don't get mad at me for jumping ahead. You've been jumping ahead the whole time.
No, this is the part.
I didn't want to miss that scene.
Yeah, so this is the part where they're like, we need to go find our kid, but Thomason, make sure you put those babies to bed.
Put that fucking baby to bed.
And so she goes out there with her fucking 6-candle lantern and starts like singing to one of the goats. And then she sees her brother stumble up, and he's like naked on the fence.
Fucking stark ass naked. He's got a
Exhausted from all the anal.
Yeah.
And he's just like moaning and making all sorts of weird noises.
Whoa, he just left Madame Camesa's pleasure palace. Dude.
Right.
What do you expect?
Well, and at this point, the family then blames Thomason again for finding him.
For sexual exhaustion.
So they're like,
there's a sigh of
so
there's a sigh
they
of
bring
relief
him
here
in
because they kind of calm down a bit.
They bring him in, and he's not awake. He's unconscious, and they're like have him upstairs in the cot bed thing that they put together with straw, and then they're yelling at Thomason for losing their son and then finding their son, and then
they're like, you lost him and then you found him.
You fucker.
and
and you see Caleb and like Madame Kamei, she did a number on his face.
Oh, man.
There's some teeth marks in there.
She gave him a new nickname, the Scat Man.
Well, yeah, so I mean, at this point, he's like, all right, fine, you win. I'll go into town, and I will talk to the town about taking us back in, right?
Yep.
Yeah.
And so he's like packing up what little remains they have into a fucking chest of drawers that they don't have a horse to take anymore.
I'm going to put it on my back.
And so he's going to go into town with Thomason, and then that's when she's like, she says something stupid, and he's like, I sold your cup.
That'll give her a good dig.
Yeah.
He's like, forgive
So
me.
it finally comes out.
Yeah.
Yeah, it finally comes out that he trades the cup. And
If I don't make it back from this trip, I sold your cup.
Now, even though the mother finds out that the cup was sold by the father, there's no ease let off of Thomason here.
Nope.
No, she's
She's
like, I
still
still
just
hate
hated.
you because I
Yeah.
know you took it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Isn't
that where Catherine starts to suggest that the mysterious ailment that Caleb is under is as a result of witchcraft?
Not quite yet.
No, she just says that everything's Thomason's fault again. And then the dad's about to leave, and that's when Caleb starts speaking in Pleasure Palace tongue.
Oh, man.
And he just starts like moaning, talking about kissing me, and he's like rubbing his nips. And then...
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, and then he like raises from the
fucking
bed.
orgasms.
And then they start trying to pray for him, and that's when the twins start freaking the fuck out. Because they're like, we can't pray.
And they're trying to like frame
Well,
this
hold
girl.
on. God
staking
damn it,
her.
Danny, you went too far ahead
Yeah,
because
we're
the
jumping
twins
ahead here.
accused Thomason. The twins accused Thomason of being a witch
Yeah,
before
true.
that even happened.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
And then they like,
God
stick
damn
to
it!
They stick to it, and they're like, we're gonna ride this one to the end. And
We're
so
going to
they're
put
like,
this baby to bed.
yes. And
Yeah.
So they
That's
just
right.
fucking act like they're possessed or something just to make
Start
it worse.
flopping around.
Yeah.
Well, so did they? Because they said that they had made communion with Black Thomas, or Black Phillip, and come to find out, Black Phillip was fucking talking to him.
Yeah, who's Black Thomas?
Yeah, that's true, but
I want to
This
meet him.
sexy baritone
I don't want to
voice
jump.
brother.
I don't want to jump
Black
too far
Thomas.
ahead, but there's only one life that's spared at the end of this movie. So I think the kids were just talking out their ass.
Well, yeah, I feel like they were just committing to a bit, and they're like, let's see how much trouble we can get her in.
Because right now,
Yeah.
you know, Thomason's she set and made her bed because she told the little one of the twins
Mercy.
that
She
she
told
was
fucking
the,
Mercy.
the
She
witch.
scared her.
She told Mercy that she was the witch, and it finally comes out. And
Scared, creepy face girl.
yeah, and so Mercy spills it to the parents or spills it to the mother, I believe.
Dude, yeah, so
Yep.
in a good old fashioned game of accuse your siblings of witchcraft, round table breaks out. And at one point, it's even thrown out that the weird DK mode kids can talk to Black Phillip.
DK mode?
Yeah. They look like GoldenEye DK mode.
You know what? I don't necessarily think that they were lying about that. Because if once you learn more about Black Phillip in the future, it would make sense that he would want to fuck with everybody.
Sure. And
But
I think, too...
They do hang out with him a lot.
They start feeling weird when they're praying for him. And... Caleb finally wakes up, and I think he has clarity, and he starts praising God and all this stuff.
Oh man!
And I think what I got out of it is maybe this evil force went into the children at this point in time. And
well, you got to remember, they tried he couldn't speak at first either, and then they had to pry his mouth open, and a fucking apple fell out for his apple.
Yeah, dude. So he throws up that entire uneaten apple. And at one point, he proclaims his love for God and dies. And dude, I just fucking started laughing so hard, and people were looking at me, and I just felt like a big scumbag because I was just laughing, and people were looking at me all weird, but it was funny.
And so the kids,
it was very
kids,
theatrical.
Yeah, it was almost over the top.
I mean, there's nothing wrong with this, but I think that last scene made me think the kid's got a touch of the gay, and there's nothing wrong with that. But I'm just saying, he was there's nothing wrong with that. I'm not against you doing that if that's what you like. I'm just saying.
Oh my God.
I'm just saying, I was like, what's with this boy here? He's overacting, he's selling it, listening to Liza Minnelli. You don't know what he's up to.
Okay, so the two little kids are unconscious, and they get taken down and laid in that nasty fucking bed their parents sleep in.
Yep. And at which point Thomason runs outside and she's fucking crying, right?
Yeah, she's hit a breaking point here because her father questions her while they're upstairs, saying, Are you a witch? You a witch? Blah, blah, blah.
Can you imagine how insane that would be if this happened today? We were like, what the fuck is your problem?
Yeah.
Right.
Anyway.
We're going to send you to counseling.
Yeah.
No internet for a week.
You fucking kid. I'm going to beat that out of you. But back then they're like, oh God, it's a witch, all my children.
Yeah.
And the mom gets more grumpy.
No more Ouija board for you.
Yeah.
No, so I mean, she runs outside and then her dad's like, remember when we first came to this forbidden forest that we should never have come to because it was a spooky forest to begin with?
And it was called Forbidden Forest?
I think it actually was.
What's in a name?
Yeah, I don't know. And then he's like, yeah, this apple tree or this tree right here would have been amazing. And then he starts accusing her again of being a witch. And then that's when she's like, no, it's the twins.
And then he's like, you know what? I got my shit together, so I'm just going to nail all of my kids in the shit.
Well, no. Yeah. So he throws her back inside, puts her on her knees, makes her talk to her mother and say, nope, it's the twins. They're the ones that are speaking to Black Phillip, and they're the witches. Yep. And then the kids are, again, just laying there completely still.
No, they're doing this.
They're shaking.
Oh, yeah.
Breathing all sorts of loud.
Breathing all over each other and stark naked.
So
like a fat guy eating cake.
Yeah.
So they pick up...
It kind of made me uncomfortable how they had the little kid, the girl down there, there was a weird tension between the dad and the girl, and she's
very
on her knees.
odd.
She's on her knees, and I was like, "What is up with this dad?"
Yeah, very borderline, rapey kind of feel.
Something happened. I feel like.
Yeah.
I mean, maybe it didn't, but that's the way I felt.
But he does. He comes out. He flat out tells her he loves her. However, she's a witch,
and that he needs
to take her back to town.
And I was like, "Is that some kind of gross punishment?"
Burn her at the stake or something.
So they.
Yeah. So.
Yeah. Go ahead, Steve.
He's got his shit together. So he nails all of his children into the shed with the accused devil, Black Phillip.
Yeah.
Because the kids were all saying Black Phillip is up to something. Yeah.
Well, yeah. So, I mean, all the kids are like, it's Black Phillip. And then the dad's like, nope, it's all of you fuckers. And then,
he plays the we'll sort this out in the morning card.
Yeah. I just need to go. And it wasn't even that late. I need to go to bed and think about this. Your kids are trapped with the supposed devil for 12 hours.
Yep.
And then the kids are like, are you the devil? And Thomason's like, no. Are you guys the devil?
Yeah.
And then they just look at Black Phillip. And then that's where it fucking ends and it goes to nighttime.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
take it away, someone else.
So while enjoying his favorite pastime, which is chopping wood, William admits to God that he has committed the sin of pride.
Boom.
Well, that's how you know too that he's a man's man, because every time some shit goes down,
takes
he
his
goes
shirt
out there
off.
and just
That
fucking
wood.
He takes his shirt off and takes it out on some wood.
Yep.
Yeah.
He likes
He's like,
wood.
My wife's wood's been chopping me, and I'm gonna chop somebody else's. And so he's confessing to God. All of his kids are like listening to him because he's
Just hacking away.
and he hasn't soundproofed this fucking shed either, so they can all hear him like confessing, which seems like something you wouldn't want to have your kids like hear you confessing that you're such a sinner. And
Something like that.
Because apparently he forgot that they were locked like 10 feet away.
yeah, 10 feet away. And there's nothing else to do in a dark shed that has peek holes, so let's just watch him. And so these later at night, when everyone goes to bed, should be the next scene.
Yep.
I think.
Yes.
Yeah,
And,
this is the scene.
You just hear Santa Claus on the fucking roof of their cottage, and then
right.
and then meanwhile, like something's scampering around inside of the fucking shed the kids are nailed in with, and they're like, oh, and they all move back, and then shit goes down. The kids can't get away. This was like
Whoa. There's something. Finally, they hear this
Right.
noise,
It's
but then
obvious
nothing
something's in
breaks through. But then something. They hear a noise, and that noise is the noise of what I would say would sound like suckling at the teat. And the witch is literally like drinking milk out of the goat's fucking...
or drinking goat milk or goat nipple blood, because this baby goes sour after this.
Yep.
Yeah, that's right. And she's like she has her mouth covered in blood at this point. And this is
And
like
probably your naked body.
This is
Yeah.
almost like
and you see a
found footage quality shot here. Like it's super grainy.
It was cool because it was a super claustrophobic.
It's because they
like,
shot it on
scene.
film.
Yeah. No, it was great the way that they did it. And then all of a
'Cause
sudden,
you feel like for the kids, like, oh shit, they're stuck in there.
Well, in this you finally see the witch, and she looks like that old lady in the bathtub in The Shining.
Yeah.
And then she
But with
gives
a bigger ass.
she gives out a Sam Raimi and just goes. "Eh."
Indeed, she does.
And the kids just start shitting their pants, and then
more witch ass in that scene as well.
well, and so
in
while
case
while
anybody
this
is into that,
so while this is happening, though, at the same time inside the house,
oh yes,
for whatever reason,
oh, I love it.
for whatever reason, the
Suck
dad
it to us,
just
Danny.
fucking sleeps through all of this somehow. Like
he was drinking.
I would.
do you know how many trees he cut? He's fucking tired.
Exhausted.
Anyway,
Yeah, we've been living
gone.
off
He's
like a half a
tuckered.
ration of bread a day.
so the mom wakes up.
I believe the old timey term is plum tuckered.
He is plumb tuckered out. Exactly.
So Catherine wakes up and she's like, "Oh, I don't remember leaving a fire on. That's weird." And then she looks over and sees her silver cup again. And then there's Caleb holding Samuel, and the kid's speaking in like a super weird, creepy voice, right? And at this point, you're like, "Oh yeah, wait, my son's dead, and he's holding my baby that I haven't seen
You
in
don't
fucking
not,
ever."
at least not until after the first nipple. You don't realize.
Yeah. And
Oh, God.
And so she's like, "I need to wake your father," and he's like, "No, don't." And at that point, you should probably go, "Oh wait, something also isn't right here." And then she's like, "Oh, whatever, my baby's hungry." And then she's like,
She bears it.
"Yeah." And then she's like, "What do you want me to do?" And he's like, "Read from this book on the fucking table." And then it fucking cuts to her like cackling like a fucking weirdo with a crow like ripping her nipple off.
Just chomping on the nipple.
Yep.
Yeah, so as she's hallucinating or doing whatever she is, breastfeeding this child, in reality, we see what's really happening.
Some crows just fucking eating off that giant fucking raisin.
That small fat worm.
So I mean, as entertaining as that is, I feel like the next scene's the real winner. The next day, fucking William walks outside, and it looks like the typical morning after a big party. Like, the stable is destroyed, the car is totaled in the front yard, beer cans galore, dead goats, fucking kids gone, and he's like, what the fuck?
Well, we got to remember, he like sneaks over Catherine, like, "I better not wake my wife," and she's like wide awake, bleeding from the nipple still, and just just like, "Okay, cool, my husband's awake." And then he goes outside and discovers all that debauchery.
Yeah, that barn looks like a fucking tornado hit it. It's
Somebody drove
there's
a car
nothing
through
left. Yeah.
The rest of their animals are
Dead.
ripped
The kids are
apart
gone.
and- yeah.
Yeah.
And then again,
Thomason's she's alive.
Like, ooh, Thomason. God
You're
damn
gonna
you.
get it.
Well, not only that, but she has blood on her hands too.
yeah, she's got blood on her. And so he's like, oh, you are the devil or a witch
So
or
he's like,
something.
you are a witch.
And you stuck around, so it's time to take your medicine.
Yeah. Because witches are just going to be like, yep, it's me. Make sure you punish me. Anyway.
and so the devil doesn't want to have the father lay a hand on the prey here.
And he fucking
on
gores
the
him
future
right.
recruits.
Yeah, and so he gores the dad right into his favorite wood pile.
Well, first he like stabs him in the stomach, and then the dad grabs the axe. And
oh god,
he's gonna fucking axe the goat to death, and then the goat's like, fuck you, and like just throws him into the wood pile.
Yeah, gores him, he's dead.
Yep.
And then immediately after, fucking Thomason gets attacked by old One Nipple, and she just blames her for everything. And even though it's the dad's fault that they got kicked out of the fucking township,
Oh, menopause is clearly kicked in now.
Ooh, dude,
she's just feeling it.
and there's no reasoning with that type menopause. It's just like they'll pick their favorite, by which I mean the bullseye one, and they just attack them. And so she just fucking does what any menopausal mother would do, which is just try to choke this kid out.
Uh-huh.
And the girl's like,
and you can see, like, as she's choking her out, right? Like, her nose hair is just growing, like, out of her nose.
It's blasting out of there.
Yeah.
At which point,
And,
Thomason reaches over, finds like the shovel or something small.
It's like a little hook knife thing.
Glass thing, broken mirror, and
then just
starts wailing away on her.
Yeah, just wails away on the mother.
Gives her the old Kimbo slice.
Boom.
Kimbo slice.
And then, super exhausted from all this, she puts her own baby to bed and just immediately goes to sleep on the ground.
Takes a nap.
No, she goes inside.
Mom and Dad is dead.
Yeah.
Let's
She
take a
goes
nap.
inside.
Mom, Dad are dead. Kids are gone.
Yeah, she goes inside, takes off her bloody clothes, and's like, I'm gonna nap on the table.
I could do with a nap.
With her back to the door, by the way. Like,
and the door's wide open.
Yeah. And so at this point,
you're like, the fuck?
It becomes night, and then she wakes up, and the only thing still there is Black Phillip.
So real quick though, like when it turns to night, right, the whole screen goes black. I thought that was the end.
Yep.
And I was like,
I did too.
damn.
There were a few times in this movie I thought that.
So people are finishing their extra large popcorn because they're fucking slobs and are still eating them, so they can get out of here. Turns out they Lord of the Rings 3'd you a few times, just like they did in that movie, and the movie continues for another
20
while.
minutes.
Just like 5 minutes, but essentially, Black Phillip turns out to be Satan because she's like,
It turns out,
she's
turns
just
out
like,
they don't make
are you
black
Satan?
goats like they used to.
Well, no. We're jumping the gun.
God
here.
damn it!
She
We
gets
are.
up.
We're jumping the shark.
Black Phillip. She sees Black Phillip, and he starts walking into the shed, and she follows him.
Right.
She sits down inside, and she says, "If you can talk to me. If you're the devil that the twins said you were, talk to me."
You know, the movie would have ended up just as creepy if it ended right there.
Yes, and that's what I was hoping for.
Yeah,
Some
I kind of
little
was too.
ambiguity.
And you know what he does? That fucking guy's got a luxurious, rich talking voice.
Uh-huh.
So he
Luxurious.
says hello. Turns out the family got hosed because they bought the devil instead of a fucking goat. And he's like, take off your clothes and sign my book.
He says, "Yeah, you can have this, you can have that.
I can give you all the butter you can imagine."
She's
Right.
yeah. He's like,
You won't
do
starve.
Do you want to see the world? Do you want riches
She's
beyond
like, I have no
all
concept
belief?
of the world. I don't know.
And she's like, yes. What do I need to do? And at this point, he's like, sign my yearbook.
During that scene, though, what I thought was kind of awesome is like you just hear the voice at first, and then at one point you see a guy walk behind Thomason. You can't see his face. You just see kind of what he's wearing, and
his hand.
It's kind of like, yeah, it kind of looks like he's dressed to go to a BDSM club. But I thought that was kind of cool, actually, that they showed that.
Yeah, no, that was great. It was just like a weird Gaston from Beauty and the Beast.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Without the handsome pony, without the handsome braid.
Yeah.
More like Gothston, am I right?
Oh my god.
Yep. That's true.
Wah, wah.
No, but here's another ending tidbit. Like, right after his voice comes out, like the goat's talking back, I thought it was going to end again.
Yeah, it keeps.
I was like, God damn! I thought, and I would have loved it if it
They
would have
faked
ended
you out
there.
again.
Yeah.
And then so she takes this off. She signs his book.
And at this point, he's
and
like,
she-
undress, bitch. And then she does.
Yeah. Well, she has to sign his book.
Yeah.
That's her. That's her literally just turning away from God. She has to make the decision, and she does. She's like, all right.
But, I mean, I said this a little earlier. What choice does she have?
No, I would have done
I
this.
will never-
I would have done this weeks before.
You've done this in a heartbeat. You're starving to
Wait,
death.
the goat's the devil? I'll take off my clothes.
Yeah.
As soon as you move in.
No, her family's dead. She's in the middle of nowhere.
What else
What
are you gonna
option do you have?
Yeah, you could be alone with the scary forest.
Yeah.
Or you could be
You
part
could
of the scary
freeze
forest
to
people.
death. Yeah.
You can be part of the
Especially
reason
'cause
the
you're not
forest
wearing
is
clothes.
scary, you know?
Right.
Yeah.
So she does that, and then Black Phillip's like, all right, follow me, and they just go strolling into the forest.
So this
And
entire
she finds
time...
a whole nother naked coven of witches.
Well, so this is the other part, and
Oh,
I actually kind of got a laugh out of this, and so I started laughing, and the entire theater was like, what the fuck is wrong with you?
Dude, that happened to me like twice.
So she's walking, right? And the moonlight just keeps like reflecting off her butt the entire
Yeah,
time
off her
she's
ass.
walking through the forest. So like you don't see her
Greased her
for a
up.
second, and then all of a sudden all you see is her butt. And then like
All you see is underage ass.
well, she's actually 20, so now it's fine. But
Danny's been
okay.
creeping.
Danny added her on Facebook, but she hasn't added him back yet.
I gotta know how old that is.
no, I was just
All right,
Fucking
she's
Danny
20.
looks around.
no, I was
Okay.
Well,
it's
she's
on fucking
clearly not
IMDb,
mid-
dude. It's on
All right,
IMDb.
whatever.
She's-
Anyway,
You don't have to justify yourself to us. It's us, baby.
Well, and the thing is funny too is like, you know, when I was looking into it, and I was gonna say this in the podcast, and I was like, I'm gonna feel like such a fucking creep because like she's a pretty girl, right?
Oh yeah.
I'm like, yeah, but she's like 12, so I can't say that during the podcast. But now she's she's
You
pretty.
could.
She's 20. It's okay.
yeah, she's 20, so it's fine. Like, get over it.
Yeah.
Anyway, because if she anyway, so
Danny's wife's gonna come in and tell him to settle down.
She's gonna say, "Where's my silver cup?"
anyway, so they're Black Phillip's leading her through the forest, and she hears chanting, and then she looks up and she sees a whole coven of naked witches speaking in tongues, dancing around a fire, and then it pans back to her face, and you can see like the fire on her face, and I was like, cool, that's the end. No, it wasn't the fucking end.
Nope.
And then they start.
Oh,
No, I like
Danny.
this part. I disagree with you.
I thought this part was cool too.
Oh, fuck you guys.
Yeah, it was cool.
Anyway, and so the entire movie they
It's okay,
use
Danny. I didn't.
zero CGI until this part, and they're like, "Fuck everyone else," and then all of a sudden, all the witches just fucking float away, and then she floats
Well,
up and
she
starts
starts-
laughing, and then that's the
She
end
starts
of the
pulling
movie.
a Lydia from the Beetlejuice.
Yeah.
And it's like shakes and
Yeah.
Dude, but okay, think about it. Like, doesn't it seem? Think about how awesome it feels to just take a piss out in the wilderness and the breeze blows on your dick. Imagine how great
Yeah.
it would be if you were naked, floating in the breeze,
Floating
as it
in the
blew
air.
on
How
your dick.
frequently
agree.
do you whip your dick out in the forest?
Quite often.
Kind of a lot. Every time I'm there.
Oh my god!
Here's the other thing
Get out
too.
of the car. Here it goes.
God damn
No,
it,
but-
guys.
But really, I mean, I thought about it. I was like, that's kind of dumb. And then I was like, that's the first thing I would do.
Oh boy.
Well, here's the thing about it too is when you look at the movie in its entirety, right, and everything that happens, the only scene of actual magical anything being shown is that scene. Everything else is just implied or aftermath. That's the only scene where you actually see them using their powers, and I thought that was kind of cool.
But then again, she could just be hallucinating.
Suck on that, haters!
She could just be imagining that she's floating.
Yeah, she,
Oh, yeah.
That's what I
she
like
coulda
about
ate
this
some-
movie.
Yeah, she
You
could
could
have.
take it a
She
few
could have had some of
different
the
ways.
magic corn, and then
Yeah, you could take it a few different ways, which is great because
Oh, absolutely.
And that's the end.
Yeah.
She floats into the sky.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
In that case,
That is
fellas,
the VVitch.
fellas, I think you're gonna like the VVitch
the VVitch.
if you like. Yeah.
In case
I
any
think
of you
you're
are
gonna like the
wondering, the covers, the fucking poster shows the VVitch. They
It's
can't use a
Two
W,
V's instead of a W.
so it's either
It's a
the
VV.
Two
VVitch
V's.
or the VVwit or the VVitch.
All right.
So whatever.
So
It's the witch.
check out the title I made up for this movie.
I like
think
it.
you're
Go.
I think you're gonna like the VVitch. If you don't dance with the devil, you're going to get horn fucked by Black Phillip, if you like.
Okay.
If you like, thinking you walked into a documentary about 17th century life for the first hour and 29 minutes of the film. Extremely long, quiet black transition scenes. Honoring thy father and thy mother. Kids allowed to run unchecked in full-on DK mode. Moms that look like Ichabod Crane. Kids with Mexican breakfast face. Dads that look like they don't have even more kids because they couldn't figure out which 17th century stinkhole to plug. And finally, busted old nudist women that look like Mad Eye Moody slathering baby belly jelly all over their rumply cottage cheese asses.
Oh yeah,
One-eyed Mooney.
Yeah.
Wow,
that was good.
So yeah, that's the fuck picture we got.
Oh boy.
All right.
Well, now we can rate this. Now we can put this baby to bed.
Put that fucking baby to bed.
Yep.
Rate it. So, before we jump into our full-blown rating here, let's talk about the villains or villain, the score, and what you thought about it. Steve?
Well, I thought that it was pretty entertaining. I actually thought it was a really good movie, and I just like probably everyone else in the world that likes this movie, was give it another notch up because I was pleased about how it pissed off really stupid people in my theater.
Yeah,
and they were like,
"Yes,
oh, that movie sucked." I was like, "This movie's even better because these people are too dumb to know what's going on."
This is outrageous.
Yes,
they had to think in the movie, so they hated it.
Yeah,
yeah, they didn't understand what was going on, so they're like, "Fuck this."
I had the literal same experience in the theater where it ends, and I heard a group of people go, "That was like stupid, yo," and I'm like, "Oh, I like this movie."
Yeah, and you're like, you know what? I like it even more now.
Yeah.
So I like that. I don't remember there being much of a score, but
it was strings, man. It was all tense strings, and it was fantastic.
Just I'm gonna roll around in this score.
Roll around in that dump.
Yeah,
dude. Black Phillip was a fucking legit. That guy was. First of all, goats are already creepy and look like they would probably talk to you if you're alone with it.
Yeah,
Is
anyone else just creeped out by the fact that goats have square like irises?
Yeah, well,
they're just creepy.
Everything about them is
it's a square. It's like a rectangle pupil. Sorry, but yeah, it's just
they've got cloven hooves.
For those of evil. Yeah, and for those of you at home who haven't done so already, go to YouTube and type in goats talking. It's the creepiest fucking shit you'll ever see.
Yeah.
They make weird ass noises too. They
have interesting voice boxes, but yeah, I thought it was pretty great.
Nice.
Thanks for going magic school bus on us there.
It was also a nice work of art. Like it was nice to look at.
Yeah, it was pretty.
I enjoyed the artfulness without it being overly pretentious.
Yep.
Which sometimes things fall into.
Agree. How about you, Kyle?
I also really liked it. I didn't think I was going to, and generally the topic of the Salem witch trials in general has been covered in theater and film for quite some time, and I have yet to see anything that I really enjoyed about it. So that's kind of where my prejudices came from before going to see this, and this did it so well. Like, I was immensely impressed. To Steve's point, the fact that people were so stupid and angered by the end of it, like, I was like, oh, this is how I know this is a good movie, because case in point, I brought some stats with me, fellas.
Yes.
The Witch holds an 89% certified fresh rating on Rotten Tomatoes from critics, but only 52% of viewers enjoyed it. However, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, the Michael Bay edition, holds a 21%. Yeah, the Michael Bay edition, to clarify, has a 21% rating from critics and a 51% rating from viewers.
Ew, it's
that
that
high. A lot of fucking losers out there.
Fucking ugh.
Yeah.
The other 50%
okay.
were people that were old enough to watch the original Ninja Turtle stuff and were like, "Fuck that."
A lot of people out there with Down syndrome.
Yeah, we got to make a movie that panders to retards.
The genesis between the two is about 30%, and I was like, huh, that's funny. Stupid people like stupid movies.
It's true.
This is true.
Toe thumbs.
So anyways, the score, was also fucking rad. I'll let Trevor talk about it because we'll probably have the same thoughts, but I thought it was done really, really well. And the fact that it was actually very minimal and it came in when it needed to. It built the tension that it needed to. And I think it overall added to the atmosphere of the movie like tenfold.
Sure, I agree. How about you, Danny?
I was gonna say thanks for forgetting me, Kyle. But yeah, no, I thought the villain was creepy as shit, given the fact that it was either the witch or Black Phillip, but neither one of them had more than 10 combined minutes of screen time. Like, that's one of the things I loved about this movie is the fact that it was
for a total of 20 minutes of Hannibal Lecter, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, this movie is a slow, visceral burn on the mind, and this is just watching this family's descent into fucking craziness and madness. And it was fantastic. And to your point earlier, Kyle, about Salem witch trials and shit like that, I think this is probably the first movie that I've seen where they actually take into account before all that witch shit started happening, before the trial started happening, like what led to it, you know?
Yep.
And like, that was good. That was awesome. I loved it. I thought the movie was great. I already talked about the dog scene. Probably could have done without that. And then again, the CGI ending, I think you guys loved it, but I thought it could have ended just with the fucking fire on her face.
Yeah.
Dude, I would have been cool if it ended in 5 different spots.
Yeah.
Sure.
Like, I thought
That's
it was
true.
all good.
But
I
anyway,
think that was my only complaint about the movie was that end scene.
Yeah.
Was the solidification of, well, I guess you can take it as maybe she is hallucinating and this isn't really happening, but I like my movies to end on a note where you got to think about it.
Right.
And you still can with this movie, but I would have liked my ideal ending would have been when she goes into that barn and she asks the goat to talk and it talks and then it ends.
See, and
Like that would have been
I would have been cool if
awesome.
it ended when
Like-
she walked into the forest and then it just fucking cut off. Like, where the fuck did she go?
Sure.
What's happening? Like,
Yeah.
So Trevor,
Or it could
like
end
when you're
she asked
saying-
it like Philip. That's it.
oh my god.
What's that, Kyle? Sorry.
or like you were saying, like when Black Phillip would talk, like literally just have him say like one sentence and have her eyes get all like big and then cut, done.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And so
That would be cool.
that'd have been great.
Dude, I thought that it could have ended. Sorry, Danny, 1 second. I thought it could have ended if she was like, if you can talk, and then it just fades to
Ends.
black. I was like, that
That'd
would
have
be
been cool.
great.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah.
Yeah. Leave some
Yeah.
questions. Yeah.
anyway, they could have ended at 5 different places. The ending still didn't do enough for me to hate the movie because I fucking loved it. Because endings can ruin movies for me. I've said it before with White Noise. The ending of that movie completely fucking destroyed the entire movie.
It's a wet fart.
Yeah. So again, that and then the score, fucking tense strings, and the best part about the score for me was the fact that not only was it just like, oh, tense, and then something crazy happens, the strings would get super fucking tense, and then nothing would happen. So you're just like, what the fuck just happened? And it would be nothing. And it was so well done. Trevor?
Yep. I agree with you.
Okay.
My only quarrel with the movie is that ending. I think it could have ended just a little earlier. But the great thing is that this movie was so good that it didn't ruin it for me. I think it was fantastic. The cinematography, the dude that did the cinematography, his name's Jaron Blask. I think that's how you say his name, Jaron Blask. He's done a bunch of shorts for Eggers, and he has the same style, just that like very gloomy, just gloom feeling, just dark, very contrasty. But he didn't overdo it artsy wise. Like I agree with you there. It just looked perfect, I think, and it was fantastic. The score was just brilliant. I think the score the score was used in this film like the score was used in The Shining, where you can literally look at the movie and take the score away, and the movie is not even half of what it is with the score.
Yep.
And the movie's not good. I think the score is just brilliant and turning a lot of these static and slow moving shots into something huge. So the score for me, I'm just gonna roll in it. It's fantastic. The villain.
So,
yeah, go for it.
Oh, I was just gonna say, talking about Robert Eggers, he doesn't have a lot under his belt, but after seeing The Witch, I'm glad that you did, because I saw an announcement that he is going to be doing a retelling of Nosferatu.
Yep.
Yeah.
And if I hadn't seen The Witch, I'd be like, fuck that. Don't remake Nosferatu. That's bullshit. But after seeing The Witch, like, he can do it. He's going to kill it.
Yeah, he is going to kill it. As far as the villain, like the goat, the devil's pretty cool, but I think the real villains here like are the family.
Is God.
So I think just watching, that's what makes this movie so great, is that the witches, the evil spirits, the devil, they come second. I think this movie's so character based, and the character arcs are all there, and you just watch this family deteriorate from the inside out. And I find them being the true villains in this movie. And it's just, you don't see horror movies where it's character driven nowadays, and that's why this movie was so successful. I think.
Also don't see slow burners really. I mean, you see some, but not a lot.
Yeah.
Well, you see slow burns, but they're usually pretty bad. This was a slow burn.
Payoff.
So, yeah, this was a slow burn with a good payoff, man.
And it's risky because, case in point, the American public is fucking stupid, and
they're really stupid. So
appreciate it.
They had to think. They didn't see Michael Bay explosions the entire fucking movie, so they're like, "Oh my god, my ADHD! What the fuck do I do with my hands?" Like,
I was amazed that this movie wasn't a failure. Not because I thought it was good, but I thought people would be so stupid that they would just complain to everybody, and then they wouldn't get any money.
Sure,
but it's good to see they made money.
Yeah, but I mean, if you look at their budget, I mean, what does it gross? 20 million?
Yeah,
a little over that.
25.
That's not a lot of money.
No, but for $3 million, and if that includes the
they're making the money
and everything,
back.
That's a good return.
That's what's brilliant too, is it shows you don't need a $3 million budget to make a great film. Yep. I mean, this dude made the movie for a little over $1 million, and put the rest of the money in marketing and things like that. Like, that shows you that if you have a strong script, I mean, you can do a lot with it. And I mean, Egger's experience in art design, I think, came into this film, and just, it was a perfect tie-in. His writing and his gothic views and standpoints, I think the dude too, for this film, I think he gave us something that you don't see in a lot of movies, and I think his knowledge in the occult really, really did something with this.
It's true, it helps.
For this film.
Don't forget, like, it doesn't say be all about God or be all about the devil. You can watch this movie and take it either way, and you can see the way that it's like either one could have gone.
The satanic religion themselves are like talking this movie up, saying, "We recommend you watch this movie." But they're using this movie to represent them.
Well, it's cool, but also you could be a straight up by the book Christian and still talk it up, because there's points for that side too.
Yeah,
like the movie doesn't do anyone a disservice; it just tells a story, which doesn't usually happen.
Well, so to go back on your guys' point about low budgets making great movies, like, I think we're seeing kind of an uptick in that lately, because, I mean, take a look at It Follows, right? That had a $2 million budget. And then you take a look at Turbo Kid, that was made off fucking grant money from New Zealand and Canada. Like, it had almost no budget whatsoever. And yet, those are two fantastic movies that just, like, let you think, and you just get to enjoy them, and they're so well done. So I think we're seeing more of an uptick in directors saying, fuck the general public, we're going to make a movie where, you know what? You're not going to see 1 million explosions. We're not going to fucking Michael Bay
stuff jumping out in your face.
I just think it's easier now with the technology we have and being able to get your hands on equipment to make your own movies. These people are taking chances, because still, it doesn't matter. I mean, this movie, it made $25 million, the budget percentage versus its budget percentage. That's a huge profit gain. But in the scheme of Hollywood, I mean, if you're not making close to $1 billion on a movie nowadays, they don't fucking give a shit. $20 million is nothing in the box office for a movie like Deadpool, or some of those others. So I agree. Like this indie insurgence, I hope to continue to see it grow, which, I mean, I think it's going to.
Well, you got companies like
I agree. I was going to say that it's a viable category, and I think that there is a sort of a resurgence of filmmakers who are realizing that you can't appeal to everyone, so you should just make the movie that you want to make on an independent budget. And in the long run, those are the films that get remembered.
Yeah. Oh, definitely. I mean, I brought up Kubrick. Like, a lot of his movies shit the bed. Like,
oh yeah,
like 2001 Space Odyssey was a failure box office. I mean, eventually, now it's fucking huge.
It's
it's eventually made its money back.
That's
but
the thing.
That's the best. I think that's the greatest sci-fi film made. I mean, it's such a brilliant movie. But I mean, with Eggers here, I mean, he took the chance. He made the movie. A24, they bought this at Sundance. This was shown at Sundance, and he had a line of fucking production companies and distributors wanting to buy it.
Yeah, one of the things that I learned about Sundance and film festivals in general is that the way that it works, I guess, that I never really thought about before, is that to enter a film that you've made into Sundance, it's literally like, it's a nominal fee. It's like $500. And you go and you show your movie, and if studios like it, then yeah, like you said, they'll crowd around and fight for the rights to distribute it.
Yeah, your hopes in going there was to get your film shown there. Like they pick a few handful of films, but if you're selected, you're crossing your fingers that some company is going to come up and say, "Yeah, let me buy this and distribute it for you." You're trying to sell your movie, but I mean, I'm really excited to see what Eggers does with Nosferatu. His occult and gothic background, I think it's going to make that movie fantastic. And I watched an interview with Eggers, and he was talking about what got him into the horror genre and the occult in general. And he said that he was like in elementary school, and there was a book in that library that he ended up going to time after time, and it was a picture of I think his name's Sam Schreck, the guy that played Orlok in Nosferatu.
Oh.
And he said that he saw that image, and it completely, like, from that day on, like, he's been into the occult and horror and everything like that.
No, I agree, and you can tell if you've watched Nosferatu and you've seen The Witch, you can tell that he's taken some inspiration in filmmaking from Nosferatu, because the thing about Nosferatu that makes it work as well as it does, it's the unknown. They don't show everything because they don't have to.
Yeah.
And you could tell he took that to heart when making The Witch. He showed the things that he thought was necessary, regardless of what Danny thinks about the dog scene. But stab a man when he can't defend himself.
Kick him while he's down,
but
boys.
But I think that he did a really great job of that, and so that's why I think he's going to kill Nosferatu. It's still going to have that same spirit.
Yeah, I think he's going to have. I don't know. This dude could potentially be like an amazing filmmaker. Moving forward, I don't know. I think we could possibly be in for a treat when it comes to the movies he puts out.
Yeah.
But
well, it sounds like we've done everything but put this baby to bed. So let's put this baby to bed.
All right, Danny. Danny back yet?
Yeah.
He's still taking a shit.
It's the VVitch.
Let's like Steve says. Let's put this baby to bed.
Yeah.
Let's do the ratings. So how does the rating
here's
system
how it
work?
works, fellas. It's on a scale of 1 to 5 dumpsters. 1 being the best a B movie, or in this case, any movie could be, and 5 being an all-out dumpster fire, which this will not be. So I would give this a 1. I liked it. That was really good. Like it was something you're watching. You're like, I'm watching something good here, which doesn't always cross my mind unless it's watch.
This is a Ray you would buy in the blue.
Yeah, this is. Now keep in mind, the only Blu-ray purchase I've ever made.
The only Blu-ray
was the only Blu-ray purchase I've ever made was the 2-disc Friday the 13th documentary, because I thought I don't want 4 DVDs. So
wait,
I would make that.
You bought the Never Sleep Again documentary?
No, I bought the Friday the 13th one.
Oh, that's Nightmare on Elm Street. Jesus Christ, I'm tired. Anyway,
come on, Daddy. Anyway, daylight savings time. Yeah, I would buy this one, and I've not bought any. I have one other one, but
honestly,
yeah.
Steve, I'm surprised you own a Blu-ray player, Mr. Old Tech.
Dude, I got I only do because I have a PS3 and a PS4, so they can play them.
Multi-purpose.
Yeah, look at me. So yeah, I would buy it. I would give it a 1. What say you? What say ye? And Kyle, could you tell me how you think about? Can you tell me what you think of this movie in fucking The Witch speak, please?
Yes.
Yeah, I probably can't. No, I can't. My brain just went no, but I did like it. I'm gonna give it a 1.5 dumpster rating. What? You don't like that?
Not bad for the man that didn't want to go see it.
No, it's true. I didn't want to go see it, and if anything, the only thing I might give it some dings upon we've touched on, and that's maybe it didn't quite know where it wanted to end, and although I think it has some rewatchability, I think after I see it one more time, I won't need to see it again. And there's some horror movies that I would love to watch like over and over and over. So yeah, so I think it's great. I think you should go see it. I would honestly, I think maybe all of us can be the consensus on this statement, but I think you should wait to see it at home, because if you go see it in the theater, this movie has a lot of quiet parts, and you're going to hear a lot of dipshits when it gets quiet.
Douchebags eating and fucking their mouth with their food.
Right. Or just be like, that's dumb.
This is dumb.
So
let's tap my foot really loud.
Yeah, exactly. So I would say wait for it to come out on video and watch it. I don't even necessarily think you should not buy it to own it, because I think that it's going to be something that you're going to look back on when you start to follow his career.
Satan. Yeah.
Well,
this is where it started.
Yeah. Yes. Well, I was going to say, as you follow Robert Eggers' career and he continues to deliver good stuff, I think this will be, something to remember. But yeah, I think it's great. Danny or Trevor or Steve or
go
somebody.
Go for it, Danny.
Steve already gave you his rating.
Yeah,
which is like the highest rating that he's.
I've had a few beers.
This is the highest rating Steve's given anything, by the way.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
You weren't on for our My Bloody Valentine episode.
You've given a 1 before.
I My Bloody Valentine that baby, and I think I did it to Halloween 1. Boom.
All right, whatever. Anyway, it's the highest that he's given since I've been here.
Yep.
Yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and give this a 1.5. Reason being, I still think there are quote unquote better movies out there, but
you can have more than one dumpster movie.
No, one. I cut it at one dumpster.
One dumpster to rule them all.
What is your one dumpster?
Monster Squad.
I'm curious. What is Monster Squad? Is your one dumpster?
Yeah.
Wow.
Give it a 2.
Anyway.
Yeah, I'd give it like
We're not here to argue with you about your favorite movie, so why don't you continue?
I still think, our next B-roll, don't worry, guys, we'll do a B-roll where we just battle royale over, like, our favorite movies and why they're better than everybody else's.
That's going to be a fucking tit-ass, badass B-roll.
It's going to be a 2-hour B-roll.
Shameless self-plug, am I right? You guys hit me with that one the other day.
All right,
anyway,
Dennis, you give it a 1.5.
1.5 because, as Kyle said, maybe watch it one more time and then you're good. But considering the fact that this movie actually made you think and it kind of fucked with your mind a little bit, I thought it was very well done.
Well, I will give it a 1.3. The reason I don't give it a solid 1 is because I think it could have ended a little earlier. And that's the only reason why. Other than that, the film's fantastic. I think, especially just for any aspiring filmmakers out there, you should put this in your back pocket and watch it when you have questions. Because I think it's done so well. Not only like the cinematography, the choice and score, and how to incorporate that into making things more dramatic and more scary, but the story itself was just written fantastically. It's a character-driven film, and, don't let the labeling fool you. I mean, it is a horror movie, but I think it's more of a psychological horror than it is like a supernatural horror film. I don't know if you guys would agree with me there, but
yeah,
I think it is.
It's a mindfuck, man. That's what.
Yeah, it's a mindfuck. But no, I think it's a fantastic Blu-ray or in Steve's world DVD,
Betamax.
maybe VHS. You'll want to add this to the collection because I think he's going to keep making great movies.
Well, all right.
Well, we've put that baby to bed.
Boom.
Put that fucking baby to bed.
Yep.
Okay. Well, thanks
Find us on our website.
Yeah.
You can bmovietrashtalk.com.
Where you can find all the classics.
We can find all the classics and more. You can look at our 4 reviews. You could also follow us on Twitter at bmovietrashtalk.
Facebook at bmovietrashtalk.
Instagram
at bmovietrashtalk.
Yep, just look out for it. And yeah, you can call Kyle at work.
Give me a buzz. Operators are standing by.
All right. Well, hey, be on the lookout for the next episode of Blood on the Side. Steve's got a fancy little another Goosebumps.
Got a pee-pee honk for you.
Pee-pee honk for you. And we'll also have a new episode of the B-roll as well. So other than that,
where I talk about all you Ghostbuster haters out there.
Ooh, boy. But that's all I got. How about you fellas?
Yep. We're a little long on time, so I'm gonna call it a night.
All right, Danny. Don't forget to brush your teeth for bed.
That's right. Wash your ass.
Rinse that fucking gaper.
Those old deodorant with the old
roller
deodorant
ball.
stick with the roller balls. And Danny can roll his butthole with it.
Good night, everyone.
All right, see you later. It's because it's like on Zoolander, but reverse. Like instead of David Duchovny with the hands in the jar, she's got like her body in the jar and her hands sticking out.